morning. I'm going to read this one that I wrote a number of years ago. It's called Ego, Bondage, and Illusions of Truth, and it goes along with that practice, what I'm talking about of observation, neti. Okay, so hopefully this explains it a little more. The path to liberation. So ego, bondage, and illusions of truth. All of our emotional bondages are created and held in place by that which is known as ego. Ego is the belief that we are these bodies, emotions, and thoughts. Therefore, when anything goes against any of these systems, we hold it to be an assault against our persona. Depending on our belief system and identity, which is already in place, the disturbance can be mildly irritating to downright devastating. If we encountered a traumatic situation where there was a belief that impending death was just around the corner, then that trauma may be rerun again and again in the psyche, creating even more pain and perceived trauma. But there is a way to short-circuit these illusions of truth, for anything that is not liberating is not truth at all, but an illusion of truth. It is these illusions that we will address. How are they created and what sustains them? And if they are illusions, how can we move beyond them? If we are not this ego structure, then what are we? How can peace of mind be attained and preserved? Where do we begin? And where will this search end? Believe it or not, that which you fear the most can be that which liberates you in the end. I'm going to read that again. Believe it or not, that which you fear the most can be that which liberates you in the end. The largest perceived fear can be the greatest liberator. Please bear with me in this. And please bear with me, this is kind of a long writing, but it goes through the whole path of going deeper into the fallacy of ego, mind, emotion, etc. Right now, you're probably thinking that this woman has a serious screw loose somewhere. And if I were in your place, I would probably think the same thing right about now. But I have been where you are and have escaped the seemingly concrete fears and thought constructions and emotional baggage which kept me bound for many years. I have walked the path and therefore can speak from the position of direct experiential knowledge and not hearsay. All I will speak of has been acquired by direct experience. I do not have a PhD, but rather a direct knowledge of truth as it is. It is this truth that I wish to share with you today. Conditionings. From the moment we're born, the conditionings begin, and the conditions of life are set. We are born into this world with a body. Some bodies are seen as perfect and some as flawed. We are born into a family. Some are glad at the arrival and perhaps some are not. All of these things begin to create the conditionings and conditions of our lives. The views of our parents and society and friends all have an impact on our thought structures and perceptions. These all come together to create our basic outlook on life and what we hold to be truth. These all create our perceptions of truth. If you are supported and told you are smart, then you have confidence in whatever you do. While on the other hand, if you are always told you are stupid and ugly, then this will color your world and view of reality. This colors your thoughts of who you perceive yourself to be, along with all the other events in life which also color and interplay within your reality framework. One person who has always been sheltered within a loving family will see the world as a kind and beneficial, beautiful place to be, whereas one whom has come from a harsh and abusive environment will see the world colored as a place to be continually on guard. Then there are events which unfold in everyone's life which will skew even these basic belief systems. Next section is holding on to the past. Now you begin to see just how much the conditionings create our basic view of reality as we know it or think it to be. With this out of the way, we begin right where you are at this moment in time. And the first thing we do is to look at the fact that the past is past. So if you are rerunning the tapes of the past, let's look at the fact that by running them over and over, you can change nothing. All you are doing is reinforcing past nonsense that's keeping you bound in one form or another. If it were not keeping you bound, it would have passed right out of your awareness. For whatever reason you perceive, you are continually holding on to this perception, whether slight or hurt or trauma, and you have to admit it, it's not doing anything constructive in your life. What if factor? Excuse me. Now let's look at the other waste of energy which we continually find ourselves involved in. And this is the what if factor. Trying to live in the future just never works, as the only place you can ever truly live is the present moment of now. So what is happening when you're running the past tapes and the what if tapes? In essence, you are passing life by. You are only existing. You are not living at all. Life is in a holding pattern, continually circling round and around. And the more freed the past and the what ifs, the more you feed the past and the what ifs, the more they grow into unmanageable cyclones of wasted energy and efforts. So I'm going to read that again. The more you feed into the past and the what ifs, the more they grow into unmanageable cyclones of wasted energy and efforts. You are only attempting to deal with a change, something which is already gone. It lives only within your illusion of truth. And the conflict is there because the ego identification with the body and emotions and thoughts. And in truth, you are none of these things. So now you ask, well, where do I go from here? And from here, I say it's time you found out the truth of who and what you really are and who you are not. Once you know at long last just what comprises your being, then the rest of that which is illusion will drop away of its own accord. When these things are no longer given any energy, then they will simply just dissipate into the vapors of unreality that they are. Like a drop of dew evaporates in the sunlight, these illusions will dissipate under the light of truth. Are you ready to begin the never-ending adventure? Are you ready to begin to really live life to the fullest? To grab and rest in the freedom which is just waiting for you? It is always there and has always been there. It's only your own blinders which keep you from seeing it. Is your fear that you're nothing and nobody? Is your great fear that of death and that you will cease to be? Let's examine these fears and see what comes out of them. Freedom to be. Let's proceed to look at what is transient. What is it about you that comes and goes? When you peel away the layers of the transient, what is it that remains? When you come to what remains, you will come to the truth of your being. You will see that there was nothing to fear and that there is only freedom that remains. And won't that be a lovely thing to remain? Just freedom to be. The freedom of knowing that you are the unbound truth of existence, that all you perceived was just an illusion of bondage and fear, which never had any reality at all, except that which you yourself give it. So I'm going to read that again. The freedom of knowing that you are the unbound truth of existence, and that all you perceived was just an illusion of bondage and fear, which never has any reality at all except that which you yourself give it. So are you ready to unravel all the fears and thoughts and emotions that have kept you tied on a wheel of karma? Are you ready to let go of the desires that keep you bound to the wheel of birth and death? For it is not the actions which keep you on the wheel of karma going around and around. It is the thought and the intent of the actions. Again, it's the thought and the intent of the actions. And it is the reactions of the actions which come against you, which once again keep you bound to the wheel of birth and death, just going around and around in the never-ending spiral called life and death, birth and rebirth. We keep circling through the same old patterns again and again until we can break the cycle. In each life, we will draw the same patterns to ourselves, keep creating the same illusions of truth until we can break free and see them for what they are. And once we see through them, the pattern will drop and we will move onward to new experience. Look at your life and see what patterns keep coming up again and again. Now let's walk through the door of knowledge to liberation and the freedom which awaits. The truth of your being. What is mind? What is mind? Is it a physical thing? Let's look here first. What is the mind comprised of? Is not the mind comprised of thoughts? And just what are thoughts? Are they some concrete existence? No. Thoughts come and go like waves on the sea. First one thought is there, and then another, and so on, and so on. One arises and falls, and then the next, and so infinitum. But there can only be one thought that makes its appearance at a time. Sometimes these thoughts will start in a whirlpool, one after another, just going around and around until you are dizzy and disoriented just from the sheer continued motion and circling around and around. But look at it again. Even though there are certain thought patterns which keep appearing and cycling, they ultimately come and go. If they come and go, they are not concrete in nature, but fluid. And like the waves on the ocean, they can appear like a ripple, or with enough energy, can appear as a tidal wave, pulling you out into a sea of emotion and fear and despair, only because they have touched upon an illusion of truth. They come and rock your world, creating waves in your reality. Let's continue on in this search until we uncover the reality that cannot be shaken. When you come to the truth, you will be set free, as the truth always is, and is the basis for all of creation. All has proceeded from truth, is sustained by truth, and will once again return to truth. Illusions, being what they are, in the end must disappear. When the illusion is uncovered, it ceases to be. So we see that mind is comprised of individual thoughts which come and go, one thought manifesting at a time. So mind is not concrete in nature. Mind is an illusion. Mind has no substance. So let us move on now to thought. What is thought? What is thought? Thought also has no concrete nature. So exactly what and where do thoughts manifest from? They have no substance. They arise from nowhere and return to nowhere. So why is so much importance given to something which comes and goes from nowhere to nowhere? When it leaves our awareness and perception, where does it go? It only has life while in the framework of our perceptions. When these thoughts float into our awareness, what happens? We give it life by then ascribing emotions to it. When a thought comes, if you look at it and dwell on it, does it not elicit an emotion? So this emotion gives the thought life for that moment in time. Let's follow the emotion. Emotions come and go. There's something that are particular to you alone. No one else feels your emotion but you. Others may see a reaction to the emotion, but the emotion itself is yours alone. Is emotion a concrete thing? No. You cannot have an emotion that lives independently on its own. You are the one that gives it life. Your attention to it gives it energy and life. And once again, emotions come and go like waves on an ocean. In and out, high tide and low tide. And since they are transient in nature, they are not the reality of your being. They are but ripples on the sea of consciousness. One emotion arises and is there for some time until it is replaced by another emotion. Once again, they are only waves and ripples without any concrete form. Emotions are created and held in place by mind and thought. And we have already seen that mind and thought have no substance and are only passing illusions. And these illusions create and sustain all the illusions that keep us bound. So that's, an important thing. When you look at the word illusions, what is it? Illusions. So again, it is these fantasy things, these illusions that keep one in suffering. So let's review. We know that we are not the physical body. If you see something, are you that which is being seen? Is the body that which is watching itself? Nor can we be the mind which is created by thoughts. Nor are we the individual thoughts. Nor are we the conglomerate of thoughts. If we are neither of these, then it follows that we also cannot be the emotions which the mind and thoughts create and sustain. And isn't our whole persona just made up and held together by all these illusions of mind, thought, and emotions? So let's keep going and see just what is left. My goodness, do I even exist at all? I think it's safe to say yes, you do exist, just not the way you thought and perceived. So when we take away the body, the mind, the thoughts, the emotions, just what is left? What's left? The truth of your being. How do you know you have thoughts? How do you know you have thoughts? How do you know you dream at night or that there were no dreams? It is because of conscious awareness. You are this conscious awareness. It sees the thoughts, but it's not the thoughts. It's aware of the emotions, but it's not the emotions. It's aware of form, but it is not form. It is not concrete in nature, yet clearly it is. You are in fact no body, and you are no thing. You are awareness, energy, vibration, truth, and bliss. I'm going to read that again. You are in fact no body. You are in fact no thing. You are awareness, energy, vibration, truth, and bliss. And these are eternal in nature. They are that which creates and sustains existence. All form, while appearing and disappearing, is created by these alone, and therefore always exists. The form may change, but it is eternal, for it never was the concrete illusion of truth we see. See beyond the form to the formless. See beyond the illusions of truth to the reality of truth. Now let us continue onward. We have come to the point of putting all this together. Since we are in reality, conscious, awareness, energy, vibration, truth, and bliss, just what thought or emotion or physical happening can touch us? Again, what thought, emotion, or physical happening can touch us? None can truly touch our essence. All of the perceived traumas and hurts have happened only to this body, and you are not this body. This is how we diffuse the bondage. When the pain comes, again go into it. Go to the root. There's nothing to go into the fear fully and see that when you reach the end of it, that it will just dissipate. It is only comprised of illusions of truth. When thoughts come and go, just see them as passing clouds with no substance. Do not give them form and life. Let them come and go like waves on the ocean. Instead of being carried away by a tidal wave, get in the boat and float downstreams and enjoy the ride. When you drop the mind of thoughts and illusions, you will reach the still waters of the peace which passes all understanding. You will be the everlasting waters. You will not thirst again. You alone create the fears and bondages of life, and you have the power to let all of them go. Go into the illusion, and it will dissipate before your very eyes. You will not cease to exist, nor will you find more bondage. What you will find is the doorway to freedom. You have never truly been born, nor have you died. You are beyond these forms and plays of life. All this is created by mind and thought. So go beyond all these illusions to what and who you really are. Live life to the fullest. You are here to explore and be existence. So drop all the self-doubts and illusions of truth that keep you going around and around. You are life. You are bliss. Drop the elusive mind and thought. You are Satchit Anand. This is the truth of your being. And what in reality can touch or harm this truth? Nothing at all. So that's the beginning of the book, my book, Kundalini from Hell to Heaven. Wisdom from the Completed Journey. So again, this is the path. This is the path of neti, not this. But it takes observation, it takes witnessing. It takes continuing to be in the moment rather than going into past and what if projections into future. Okay? It takes being willing to stop, contemplate, look at these things, and go to the root of it. And once that root is cut, one is free of that. One has a freeing up. So this is the path. This is the path to self-realization, moksha, liberation, nibbana, nirvana, okay? Again, so that's, I wanted to lay that out. That is the path when one is exploring it that comes along the way. One sees one is not the thoughts. One contemplates what is mind. One contemplates what is thoughts. If you watch thoughts, they come from nothingness, and where do they go to? From nothing to nothing. Okay? So again, all of this, the path is about the seeking, the willing to look deeper, the willingness to question, the willingness to continue forward, and wanting to know the divine is, wanting to know what is God, what is fueling the universe, what is creator, what is creation, who am I not, okay? So I hope you've enjoyed this. If you're someone on the path, this is something that is good to listen to, often, so that one can continue to understand that path forward, going forward, to discover you're the great zero. Okay? Most people want to find a bigger ego, but you find out, and it's very much a shock when you find out I've never been born and I've never died, and all these experiences I've had, okay, are ephemeral, okay? Because whatever these things are, they happen to the physical form, and you find out absolutely you're not the physical form, okay? So again, but it takes looking at these really deeply for it to be able to cut and unlock this stuff. You can't just go through it mentally and say, okay, I get that, I get that, I get that. No, you have to get it at a soul level. It has to be seen and experienced at a soul level. But this is the path. This is the path to enlightenment. Enlightenment is just finding out what is there, what has always been there, will continue to be there, and no longer covering it over with mental projections, okay? With being basically disassociated from reality, okay? So I'm going to leave this here. If you've enjoyed this, please give a thumbs up. I do so appreciate it. Much love and light. August 22nd is coming up, the next door opening in consciousness for those that are walking the path of light, that want to proceed. Some new things are going to be taking place. So this is a good time to prepare and understand this teaching, understanding, and, if you are on a path of light, starting to contemplate these things, being willing to open up, being willing to have these experiences, okay? Staying in the moment, staying focused. If something comes in and you start going off into past or projections into the future, stop yourself and go, in this moment, what's happening is, and bring yourself back to exactly what you're doing now. Okay? In this moment, I'm sitting at a chair in my house. That's it. If I were going on some past jaunt of drama or projecting, again, you can't go forward if you're not present. You can't go forward unless you're present. Okay? So I'm going to leave this here, love and light. Thanks for tuning in. Stay safe, mask up. Don't lose your opportunity here on this plane of existence. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you online.